This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
I want to mention, as we said earlier, this was actually taped on the 16th. Later that night, you guys would be in Johnston City, Tennessee, with the Road Warriors and the Midnight Express in the main event. Central States is going to have a tournament that same day on the 16th for the Central States Heavyweight Championship Tournament. And of course, I think when it was all said and done, the finals came down to Sam Houston beating Bill Dundee. The 17th, you're in Greenville. You've also got a show on the 17th in Fayetteville. Also 2 shows on, actually 3 shows on the 18th. One in Spartanburg, one in Lansing, and then a TV taping in Greenwood. The dark match at the TV taping is Dusty teaming with Nikita to take on Arn and Tully. On the 19th, you're in Green Bay. On the 20th, you're in Green Rapids, and Central States has an appearance with Dusty and Rick in Omaha, Nebraska. The 21st, Saginaw, Michigan. We would see Road Warrior Animal in singles action against Bobby Eaton. The 22nd, the day this show would air, you had a show in Cleveland, a sellout in Baltimore, and then we're doing another episode of TBS. We're taping it on the 23rd, but it's going to air on the 29th, which is after Starrcade. In Ontario, believe it or not, Angelo Mosca is going to promote a show on November 23rd for 1,500 fans. And we've got Nikita and Wahoo on top, Ivan and Crusher taking on the Road Warriors. And believe it or not, Hawk was not on the show, so it was Road Warrior Animal and Paul Ellering. Jimmy Valiant in there with the Hangman, not Adam Page. But it's interesting to note that we had a little JCP action in Ontario with a very special guest promoter. How about that?
Yeah, you know what? I think I was there. Does it list the town as Brantford?
It lists the town as Kitchener, Ontario.
Okay. All right.
Memorial Auditorium.
There was Angelo Mosca and whoever promoted with him and Jimmy and Dusty had a big falling out. And I remember we had 2 shows. We had Brantford and we had next night we had one of the big cities up there, Ottawa, I think. And I remember going to Brantford. It was a little hockey, Brantford's the home of Wayne Gretzky. And we had we flew everybody in on private planes. And Jimmy and Angelo had a disagreement. And to make matters worse, Nikita Koloff, being Nikita Koloff back in the day, was sitting in the dressing room. And he said, "Hey, Angelo, make sure you pay us in American money, not that Canadian money. Canadian monopoly money." And he laughed, and Angelo was pissed.
Did he say it in
Russian?
Oh, no. I mean, did he use the accent, or was he really Scott Simpson when he said that?
He was really Scott Simpson. Yeah.
Okay.
And that really pissed Angelo off. And Angelo, his promoter, and I was sitting there, and I said, "Are you guys all right?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "This whole thing is just a big clusterfuck. It's not your fault, Tony. You've done a great job for us, promoting it and everything." So they had the next day they had Ottawa. I went to Brantford. They never used me. They had some disagreement. They were going to use me doing something. They never used me. I went there, and instead of going to Ottawa the next day, I went on the private plane to New York City with Jimmy and Dusty because they just fucking said, "Fuck it, we're done." And I guess some of our guys showed up, but Dusty did a no-show. And that was really a clusterfuck for 2 days up in Canada. So I don't know if it was around that time or not. It doesn't sound like it. Kitchener sounds like it was another time. And this could have been after, I'm sure it was before, but even maybe around that time. But I remember that fucked up trip to Canada, which was my first trip to Canada, to go to Brantford where it was snowing and cold and sitting in a dressing room at an old hockey arena doing nothing back there. So,
well, the day after that show, you're in Asheville, North Carolina on the 23rd. On the 24th, you do a TV taping in Greenville. And remember, they're doing a TV taping right before Starrcade, and it's going to air after Starrcade. Spartanburg, South Carolina gets through on the 25th. On the 27th, everybody's off on the 26th. We have a Central State show But that's also the day that Starrcade 86 happens. Not in one, but in two towns, Greensboro and Atlanta.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.